This week, the Misty team is setting out for San Francisco. If you're familiar with Twilio, you might have heard about Twilio Quest, a game designed to teach programming. Through these interactive quests, players can gain experience points and level up their skills. Misty joined this year's Twilio Quest as the Cedric character, guiding players throughout the event.
Wait, Cedric? Oh wait, hey folks, let me introduce you to your Twilio Quest companion, Cedric. Let's hear it. Hey Cedric.
I apologize for the intrusion, but I have vital information that cannot wait.
Okay.
I have received intelligence which indicates the legacy systems plan to disrupt the Signal conference.
We're showing developers how easy it is to integrate with Twilio's third-party APIs. You could text a driving command to physically operate Misty, or use a touch sensor to trigger Misty to take a photo and send an SMS back to the user with the image. We're showing developers who haven't programmed robots before how to get started with Misty's Hello World skill.
Yeah, I don't normally program robots because it's hard and not very fun, but this was super fun and easy, so I'm definitely gonna pick one up.
Honestly, I hadn't really thought about it because the barrier to entry is relatively high. You know, I don't have a sophisticated degree in robotics or even engineering or anything, so it hadn't even really crossed my mind to get into it, but I feel I'm a strong developer. Seeing that there's a platform where a lot of that hard work is out of the way and I could just do what I know to make something happen is actually exciting, and the first time I even really thought about getting into messing with robots.
I like the fact that you can use a Raspberry Pi with it. I like the fact that I don't have to have a background in robotics. You can basically just use some JavaScript, so that makes it pretty easy to just get up to speed with it and just start using some basic gestures.
Yeah, watching the robot move was definitely a really big moment because it was a little bit more of a pop than when you get software that just runs in a browser. It's kind of cool to see a physical object move, so I really enjoyed that part.
So you have like immediate reaction. So you do something with code, and then the robot moves, shakes the head, move their arms, and that's really immediate feedback that gets you excited.
It's always nice to be able to do something and for it to work straight away. I work with APIs and I work with very intangible things, whereas to actually do some programming and it does something, you see it happening, it's not just on a screen. And for someone that doesn't do any hardware development, it's quite nice to see.
I'm a developer, and so I'll harshly judge people based on their UI and things like that. And I could appreciate that the user interface has some thought put into it, and it makes me feel like people who know what they're doing are working on this.
It was pretty easy. I spent, I don't know, maybe an hour, a little over an hour, learning all the ins and outs on the feature itself. Once we had the bearings on it, probably like 15 minutes or so. JavaScript docs are pretty straightforward and got a little bit of help from the devs.
I actually am a huge fan of developer first and then consumer to follow, because I think developers are going to form a community and build a lot of things like in the ecosystem that uses the product. And so I think it's a really, really strong strategy, because then by the time it gets to consumers, there's already a lot of existing stuff that those consumers can then look at and be inspired by. And you've got people who are natural born tinkerers kind of working with it first.
Cedric, thank you, you sweet robot. You warned us of the dangers.